You're watching the RickVanMan channel, and in today's video, Rick is out and about.
Well, greetings and salutations. This is Rick. I do hope you're having a great day. We're on looks like we're doing a video log today. I'm not sure whether this is going to turn into one of those long rambling videos where I just kind of get out and about and do stuff and film stuff. But I basically decided that I'm not going to stay indoors on a beautiful day like today. This is the first time we've seen the sunshine in a long time. And I am sort of scheduled to do some work on the computer. I was supposed to be doing it today, but I thought there's no way I'm going to be sat indoors behind a computer screen when it's like this. So thanks for all your great comments on my previous video. That was my 10 years on YouTube video, and really great to read all your comments. The video obviously went down very well, and my little montage of all the stuff I used to do back in the days when I first started YouTube. I must admit, when I look back through that montage, you know, some of the stuff I did in the earlier days, it seemed like a lot more fun, but it was a lot more work. Some of those like films and things I made, they took weeks and weeks of planning and setting up and thinking. And to be honest, I just don't have the mental energy for that kind of thing these days. It's video logs and, you know, the occasional point the camera at whatever it is I happen to be doing at the time, like today. So, you know, I decided I'm going to get out on the road and just enjoy this beautiful weather, and then if I go anywhere or, you know, sort of end up somewhere, I might be able to film it as well. That'd be good. So I'll have a little natter now and see where we end up. I sort of got a feeling we may end up back at that Roman villa again. I sort of feel drawn to going there today. If I do, it means you get to walk around it without the camera wobbling around all over the place, so you'll actually get a proper look at it if we do go there. We'll see how the mood goes. But life in Rickworld's been pretty interesting. Been doing bits and pieces, keeping myself amused. Currently working on a new video for the other channel, the Honest Guys channel. We decided this year we're not going to be doing so much quantity, but we're trying to up the quality. I think we're focusing a little bit more on the fantasy side of things this year. So, you know, but the fantasy ones, the stories do tend to take a lot more time and effort to make. So that's what we're doing. And at the moment I'm just working on a shamanic journey video. I did the voiceover to that this morning, and that's one I wrote myself as well. I got a little bit of help from Sham, but it's something I was into a number of years ago, and this is like a guided journey, and we've got this amazing drum beat, which is like this real ancient sort of primal drum beat that we're working with. So it should be quite a good little video, hopefully. Still doing the low carb, high fat diet. Some of you know I've been on it for quite a while now, since we come out through the other side of Christmas, and so far it's been really good. I checked my I've been keeping an eye on things like my cholesterol levels, and back before Christmas my cholesterol was way up. It was up to about 7.7, which was ridiculous, because what you need is about a 5, you know, sort of 4.5, 5 is perfect. And anyway, since I've been doing this low carb diet, I checked my cholesterol levels about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, and they were 5.0, and I checked them again yesterday, or sorry, the day before yesterday, and they were 4.9. So even though I'm on a high fat diet, I'm not calling it a diet, it's a complete lifestyle change. I've literally got rid of all carbohydrates in my house, but I've been doing it now for getting on towards 2 months, and all of my levels and everything are really checking out good, so that's really good. The only problem is I got a very slight increase in uric acid levels, but that's down to the purines in the increased number of meats and dairy that I've been eating. So at the moment I'm just experimenting, just working out the right balance. So I'm cutting back on the dairy and also the peanuts. I was starting to eat a lot of peanuts, so I'm cutting back on those, and I need to check my levels again in a couple of weeks' time and just see how things are going. Because you have to keep an eye on the uric acid levels, because it can make you prone to things like gout and kidney stones. So you need to get them down a little bit. But everything else checks out beautifully. And I know that some people were worried about me being on a high-fat diet, and I did hear the expression "heart attack waiting to happen" on a number of occasions. But there is a science behind it, and it's the numbers don't lie. There are lots and lots of people, particularly diabetic people, who are on the low-carb, high-fat diet, because it gives you much greater control over your insulin levels. And if you are somebody like myself with a little bit of insulin resistance going on, it's kind of almost essential so that you don't fall into the pre-diabetic zone. You just really got to keep an eye on the sugar intakes that you take, on the carbohydrate intakes. But yeah, so far it's all been looking really good. Had a little bit more energy as well, although I get much more energized when it's sunny like this, because as I've always said, I'm a little bit solar powered. Yeah, so far it's really good. And if you want to know anything about the low carbohydrate, high fat diet, I'm not really the one to explain it to you, because I'm not that articulate on it. But there is a guy on YouTube who is extremely articulate about explaining how it all works, and he's known on YouTube as Butter Bob, and I'm going to put a link below to his YouTube channel. He made this video called "Butter Makes Your Pants Fall Off," and essentially this guy was a big guy. I mean, he was sort of 350 pounds in weight. He was very extremely obese. And now when you see him in his videos, he is skinny. He's a little guy. He's properly skinny, and he did it through eating fat. And I know that goes against everything we've ever learned, ever been taught. But it was very enlightening, and he's got quite a handle on how the science of it works. So if you check out his videos, they will kind of explain in much better terms than I can how the science of it works. That church looks amazing with a blue sky behind it. This is the little village of Aldbourne, and I really like this village. I'll probably say this every time I go through it. But we've got to go through here to Hungerford, which is the next sort of major town along. Well, the blossoms are out, or starting anyway, which is good. Love to see the blossoms, especially around the thatched roofs everywhere. I had a list of things to talk about in my head when I set out, and I don't know if it's the same for anybody else who makes videos, but I always find as soon as the record button is pressed, my mind goes blank. That's something that's always happened right from day one whenever I made YouTube videos. And I should really write little post-it notes down with bullet points on or whatever. One of the things I did want to mention was if you're trying to message me, don't do it on YouTube. I know YouTube have got like a YouTube Messenger system, but I don't use it. And the other day I stumbled across YouTube Messenger, and there were loads of messages on there that I never received. I never got. Well, I would have got had I gone in there and read them. But the best way to get in touch with me is generally through my website. I've got a contact page. You can contact me there, or that's probably the best way, because you can pretty much guarantee I'll get to read the message. I do get a lot of messages though, so it's not always possible for me to reply to all of them, but I do my best where I can. I was watching one of Austin's videos, Scudo Camper. I was watching his video this morning, and he's talking about fixing his own teeth. And I know he's like me with dentists. I had some absolutely horrific experiences as a kid with my dentist. And I remember, I think there are methods of torture that are less than the kind of stuff I had to go through with dentistry as a kid. And I remember on 3 separate occasions absolutely screaming my head off with pain as the dentist has his knee on my chest trying to pull a tooth out. And I remember the last time I went to him, I was physically shaking before I even got into the room. And it's totally put me off dentists for life, understandably. But to be honest, these days, I have been to the dentist in the past, and these days, for me, it's not really the problem of the pain anymore. I think it's the Novocaine or whatever it is they use these days is very, very good, and you don't actually feel any pain. So that's not my problem. My problem is being in the chair, because I'm very, very claustrophobic, and if I'm in a position where I just cannot get up and walk away, I have panic attacks. So for me, it's a bit of a nightmare getting to the dentist. Plus, of course, holding down an appointment, because I get good and bad days where I can sort of go out like today. Other days I can't leave the house. So it's a real nightmare, getting dentistry work done. And as you probably noticed, I've got a tooth myself that needs doing. It's basically a crown that fell off quite a few years ago now. It's purely a cosmetic thing. The tooth that I've got there is it's fine. It's not diseased or anything. It's not giving me any issues, and it'll probably sit there quite happily for the rest of the time. The problem is it's as ugly as sin. And the one thing I have noticed when you have lost front teeth is it really knocks your confidence. It's a bit of a dignity stripper, and it's something you're always consciously aware of when you're smiling. And I know poor old Austin, he's been through the mill with his teeth as well, and he's got the same sort of phobias as I have about going to the dentist. So he's actually trying to figure a way of making his own dentures. It's going to be an interesting video. I'm kind of really keen to see how he gets on. But I didn't realise you can actually buy acrylic teeth, specifically for making your own dentures. So I've actually ordered a set of teeth, of which, individual teeth, and I'm going to actually have a go at seeing whether I can make a new crown for this gappy tooth. And I've just ordered some parts. It's basically I need to make a mould of my own teeth and do a plaster of Paris negative or positive or whatever you call it, and then I'm going to try to put a tooth onto it and see if I can make it work. So hopefully that'll be quite an interesting video, because again, I don't know why my throat's so croaky today, but again, it's purely a cosmetic thing. And for me, doing your teeth for cosmetic reasons, for me that's it's getting into the ego realms, and sort of pandering to your own ego for me is a step in the wrong direction. But there again, on the other hand, we live in a society that is very ego driven, and it can be quite difficult for somebody to detach from their ego within, living within the kind of society that we do. So when you have gappy teeth, I'm not in this person's way, am I? No, good. When you have gappy teeth in an ego driven society, it can be quite hard on the self-confidence. Right, we're just driving through the little village of Chiltern Foliat. I had to think about that for a minute. Down that way, that's where they filmed the Victorian kitchen garden. You probably saw that in that video, possibly saw that in that kitchen garden video I did a couple of years ago now with Sean from the Hawk channel. So you got Hungerford over there. Might have a little drive through that a bit later. But right now I feel myself being drawn to Littlecote House. So let's go there and see what's what. It's quite a nasty little corner, this. So just along here we've got that beautiful little bridge that goes across the river here. I've been there loads of times. I won't be going there today, but no doubt I shall probably go there another day and get some more video footage from it. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I was thinking the other day, I've been playing around on the virtual reality headset, and I've been using it a lot more lately, and they've just done an upgrade on it and you can watch 3D movies and things on it now, which is quite good. But I've kind of been watching a lot of the 360 degree YouTube videos that are out there and really kind of enjoying them. And I was for a while thinking about actually seeing if I can get hold of a 360 degree camera. But one of the things I realised or learned was that even if you're recording in 4K, basically you've got two really wide angle cameras back to back and they merge an image together. So you've got a full 360 degree view. But even if they're recording in 4K, it's still, the actual image quality you get on the finished result is still really, really poor and blocky and pixely. And I mean, the reason is, I mean, if you're watching, say you're watching this in 4K, you'll have a crystal clear, sharp picture. The problem is, once you stretch that 4K all around into a 360 degree view, it's like zooming in on a film. Now, if you've ever zoomed in on a video, the more zoomed in you get, the more pixely it is, and that's why most 360 degree videos that you see are still of a very poor quality. So what we need to do is wait until we're sort of up there in sort of 8 or 10K. I don't even think 10K is possible, is it? But we need to hang on, or I need to hang on before I get a 360 degree camera, because like I say, the quality is just not good enough at the moment. But when we're in the realms of, you know, beyond 4K, maybe 8K or above, 16K would be perfect. It would be perfect, but we're a long way off that. We're years off that yet, I think. Look at that. That is a beautiful house. That is Littlecote House near Hungerford in England, and it's still a hotel, but you can go and do a day visit of the gardens and the mosaic. So a bit of deja vu going on here, because I thought it was a deer. It's a stuffed one. Okay, right then, let's go and have a little wander around, shall we? Again. It looks a little greener than it was last time I was here. Looks like the sun might have been getting on it. But that is somebody's living room carpet. And it was done 300 years after Christ. Is your living room carpet as hard wearing as this? Right, I need to put you down so I can take some pictures. So how's that going to work? Think what I'll do, I'll stick you down there on the floor for the moment. Hopefully you can stay there without falling over. And I'm going to take a shot. It's quite difficult to photograph it, actually. It'd be nice to be above it, or higher up. It's pretty darned impressive, I'll give them that. If you live in this area, or you know, this part of the world, or this part of the country, and you know of other places that I can go to, because my list of places I can go that are sort of reasonably local to the sort of southwest England, is quite short. I know there are lots of tourist books and things that will take you to all the busy tourist places, but ideally what I want is little places like this that are sort of just out of the way, sort of off the beaten track a bit, off the beaten tourist track. So if you do know any of any places like that, do feel free to let me know. Either drop me a message via my website, use the contact page on my website, or in the notes below, because I wouldn't mind visiting them. I mean, it's my goal this year to actually try to push the boat out a little bit this year, and actually get out a little bit more, try going further afield, try to visit more places, and kind of just get used to the idea of travelling out there a little bit more. So yeah, some places to actually go and visit would be really cool. Right, we'll go and have a look at the gardens. I might not do too much talking, depends how many people are there, because otherwise you end up sort of talking to yourself. But it looks quite busy, lots of cars here. I think a lot of older folk come here for their for tea and things like that. They've got a little cafe, you can go and have a cup of tea. There you go, historic Littlecote House, Oliver's Bistro Restaurant, Popham Restaurant. There we go. So you are here. You can historic Littlecote House. There's the main house. Little restaurant there. Late lounge, stable yard. Let's go on a little voyage of discovery, shall we? Oh, very nice gardens. The kitchen garden. At present you will see 16 square beds with box hedges and lavender, Hidcote blue, infill first planted in the 1980s to 2009. The lavender is an excellent source of food for honey and bumblebees and can also have many other uses in the culinary, medicinal and cosmetic fields. Let's be nosy. Okay, this is just a courtyard. Don't think it goes anywhere. Got some little cloistery things over there, you can go and chill out. That blue sky, beautiful, isn't it? Some more gardens there, beautiful green, look at that. Very nice. You got a little mazy, hedgy thing here. Quite impressed actually that there's that hedgerow. That's a very old hedgerow. We've been having a hedgerow blight here for a while. A lot of hedgerows like this have died off. So I'm quite pleased and happy that seems to be doing quite well. Not sure I'd want the maintenance costs for an old house like this. And you think about like roofing and things. Although it doesn't look like it's been touched in years. Okay, historic Littlecote House, Oliver's Bistro Lounge. Let's have a look around, shall we? Okay, Dutch parlour, brick hall, Roman museum, chapel and snooker room. Good grief, look at that. It's enormous. Ooh. That's the loos. Alright, let's have a look in here. So, inside the house. Alright, the Dutch parlour. Can we go in there? Lined with wooden panels painted in around 1666 by prisoners taken from a Dutch vessel captured off the English coast during the Second Anglo-Dutch War. Let's take a look, shall we? Let's have a look. Ah! Oh, straight away. Got that smell, that antique wood smell. Okay, so this is what original wall murals used to look like before you could buy them on a roll. Looks like there was a painting there at one point, because that's much lighter than the rest that's darkened up. That's what light exposure does, isn't it? It kind of makes things darken down. So there's a bit of a... Is that a battle going on? Looks like they're herding sheep. I don't know how much of this the camera's getting. Hopefully you're getting it all. The lights might be playing with the contrast. If I get out of the line of sight of the lights, you might see more. So, and of course the ceiling. Look at that. So it's difficult for me to... Actually, let me just tap the screen on the back. Oh, you are getting it. A little screen on the back here that's just showing me that you are you're getting some of this at least. There's a lot of reflection here, even to my eyes, let alone the camera. But there's always a lot of violence in these pictures. Everybody's got their swords drawn, or I thought on that description it was talking about signs of rural, or seeing things of rural life. Maybe that, everybody down the pub. Not sure I'd want to... I'm not sure I'd want to dress like that though. Okay. Let's move on. Alright, what's through this door? Brick Hall, Roman Museum, US Airborne Museum, and a snooker room. Oh, that was a little freaky. I thought it was a person sat there. Hello. This is... Please do not touch the waxworks. Okay. These guys are a little creepy. So, one dining hall. A couple of really big paintings on the wall. No information, not sure who they are. That's, again, the lighting in here is very, very shiny. Even, like I say, even to my own eyes. Not sure who these people are. There's no cards. Ooh. Another waxwork. Okay. Just some various bits of info here. Stocks. Are these stocks? Finger stocks. Oh, that's nasty. These stocks, also known as finger pillory, operate on a slightly different principle. In addition to the familiar semicircle cutouts, the lower stock has vertical holes in which the first two joints of the finger are inserted. Once the stocks are closed, the finger, which is bent at the middle joint, cannot be removed. It was used to punish the disorderly during social gatherings and to discipline servants. Oh, Littlecote House is the third most haunted house in Britain. There's a curse on the house, and that Littlecote is not one house but three. Okay. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, another room. Hello. All right. Right, this must be the games room, I guess. Big old fireplace and a couple of tables and chairs for the old wood paneling on the walls. Interesting ceilings too. I'm assuming that's all original. Oh, yeah. Oh wow, this is different. This is the chapel. Okay, this chapel is a very important part of the medieval manor and is the only complete example of a Cromwellian chapel in existence. It has no altar, just a high pulpit, which is up there. Very cool. The statue in the case, wherever that is, there, is of the baby Francis Hugh Leybourne Popham. He died in 1861, aged 5 months, and was another example of the Littlecote curse in operation. The curse decreed that no male firstborn would ever inherit Littlecote. Oh, that's sad. So, there's a big old organ up there as well, and a pair of really big wine glasses. I'm sure they're not wine glasses. Can we go upstairs? Shall we? Let's have a look. No, they're not wine glasses, they're for candles. There we go, it's looking down on the chapel. Okay. One thing that's very overwhelming here is all the wood. There's so much of this dark wood everywhere. Okay, exit to putting greens and the snooker room. Very cool. If you'd like to make a booking for our snooker room, so that's a hotel thing. But again, look at all this wood everywhere. So I wonder what colour they would have, what they would have used to stain it with and to preserve it back in them days. So I'm pretty sure creosote is a fairly recent invention. Right, we don't need to go back through there, but we can exit here. I know where we are. This is where we looked earlier. So back in the courtyard again. Well, there we go. Now you've seen the gardens and a little bit of Littlecote. Can't get that smell out of my my nose. That antique wood smell. It's very. I don't know what to make of it. Whether I like it or not. I think I do. It just kind of. Actually, I don't think it's important that you like it or not. When you smell it, it kind of you can feel it telling a story. If that makes any sense. It's like it's almost like a hallmark. It's like this smell of genuineness about it. No, I haven't got the right words to describe it, but you're dealing with something that's very old and very real, which is kind of quite cool. So there we go, we're back out the gates again, and let's jump back in the van and perhaps go off somewhere else. Not sure where yet. I'll see where the van takes us. I can have a cup of tea or something. So I'll get back in the van and I'll see you in a minute. And we're back. I was thinking of going to Hungerford, but I can't be bothered today. I don't really want to be in a busy town. We'll leave that for another day. We'll take a nice meander back home and see if there's anything of interest on the way. It's getting warm. I might even have to put the air conditioning on for the first time this year. That's pretty warm. Well, I've just checked the weather forecast and it's 14 degrees, which is not too bad for this time of year. That's, what's that, 14, 28, 30, 40, 58 degrees, nearly 60 degrees on sort of early to mid-March. That's quite reasonable, so I'm happy with that. Unfortunately, it's going to be cloudy tonight. I've had virtually no opportunity to use my telescope because of the cloud. But I like to sort of know in advance if it's going to be a clear, starry night, and then I can kind of plan ahead. It's kind of a you psych yourself up for it, because then you know you're not going to be going to bed sort of 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. But hopefully, when the summer comes along, well, hopefully when the spring comes along, we'll get a few more clear nights, and I'll be able to get some more things, astronomical objects photographed, which would be really good. Right, which way are we going out of here? Am I going left or am I going right? I think I'm going to go straight on. I'm going to go left. And then I'll hit the Hungerford Road. I might take a drive through Hungerford, see what's what. But I know there are lots of little side streets and things in Hungerford. I've never seen them with my own eyes, but I've been told about them. Same sort of thing goes for... Why are you driving in the middle of the road? There's a very old driver there. Yeah, it's the same for Marlborough. There's lots of little side streets, and you've got all these little novelty curiosity shops and things. So that's definitely going to be worth doing one day. Possibly not today, but we'll see. Let's just follow the road and see what unfolds, see what happens. There's a canal. Which is nice. Oh, should have waited for him, never mind. So I've only ever sort of known Hungerford as just one big high street with a road down it. A little bit like Wootton Bassett, to be honest. But I'm obviously looking in the wrong places, I think. It just pitters out into houses. That can't be all there is to Hungerford. There must be more. The fish and chip shop. Yeah, I'm definitely looking in the wrong place. I know Hungerford is more than just a busy high street, so at some point I'm going to come back here and have a good look around. But now we've just gone on to residential, so but I've been told there's all sorts of little side streets and interesting places here, so I'll have to maybe watch a video on it or something. Alright, let's see if we can aim for Marlborough. And we'll just kind of head back that way. One of the things going on in England, especially this part of the country, is every small town and every large town is just having a massive expansion, and they're building thousands and thousands of new houses everywhere. And like my town, I used to live on the edge of town, but now all the expansion, it's kind of pushing me into the middle of town, which is again another sort of nail in the coffin of me staying here. And it keeps resurrecting that desire to move, to get out. So I'm not quite sure, because for me it's a massive deal to move, because I live in a very, very convenient place. You know, I've got everything I need. And to me, the only reason I want to move is to go to somewhere more rural. I would gain nothing by just moving from like one estate to another. There's nothing to be gained by doing that. So if I'm going to go through the stress of getting involved with moving, it's got to be for a reason. And wow, some huge great birds of prey up there. I think they're buzzards just circling around. Or is that a kite? It's too fat to be a kite. That's a buzzard. No, that's a kite and a buzz. No, it's two kites. Two massive great big kites. Wow. See, at one time they used to be extremely rare in this country, and I think they had some kind of a breeding program, and now they're pretty much everywhere, which is pretty good, I think. I have no idea where I'm going. I'm just following the road, which I think we're heading. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so that's south. So we're sort of heading south-southwest sort of direction. I have no idea where this is going. I'm sort of looking for right-hand turns because Marlborough's that way. Marlborough's west. Oh, here we go. Here's a junction. Right, bag shot. Let's aim for bag shot. Hopefully this car behind's seen me, because this is quite a fast road. Yes, he has. Good. Right, let's go through bag shot. There's got to be a sign in Bagshot for Marlborough. That's my thinking. That's what I love about this part of the world. There's all these little quaint little places dotted around everywhere that you can just kind of meander on through. And one of the things I love about Sat Nav is if you select. Well, I've got a little TomTom, and if you select the most direct route, it sort of draws a straight line between point A and point B, and it keeps you as close to that line as possible, and it takes you down all of these tiny little roads and things, with dirt in the middle like I got here, and you get to see places you would never otherwise see. One of the things I'd love to do, and I may even do it this year, is I'd like to do a tour going to places around England. Nearly run over a pheasant. Do a tour running around places. There's another pheasant there. Are you going to run out in front of me? Two of you. Yeah, you're going to run out in front of me, aren't you? Like you always do. Yep, there you go. Oh, that's a big old house. Big new house by the looks of it. Very nice. Yeah, I'd love to kind of book a camping site, somewhere up north or somewhere interesting, and then do a journey. Rather than just getting on the motorway and getting there, I'd rather do a direct route journey avoiding motorways, and that way it'll take me around all the little A and B roads, and so I get to see lots of places I wouldn't otherwise see. And I think I'm going to try doing that, because one of my goals this year is to get out a lot more, to sort of push the boat out, to push the distances out as well, go a little bit further, and kind of get used to the idea of travelling again. And because, like I say, I've been so almost housebound in recent years. I'm kind of trying to break free from that, and I need to retrain my mind to be able to cope with sort of doing longer distances. Admittedly, I do Wales sort of once, maybe twice a year, which is a heck of a trek. It was like a 5-hour journey, especially when we did North Wales. And for me, that was kind of a big deal, but I had to kind of psych myself up for it and everything. But I want to try to get back into the whole travelling thing, so I don't have to think twice about it and just get on and do it. So that's my plan this year, and then hopefully, if that happens and I'm able to travel and clock up the miles and really sort of get my travelling legs back a bit, I can hopefully maybe even consider another van next year, maybe new van project. but I've sort of got my heart set on a brand new van, but not necessarily brand new, but like a 6-month-old van, something that's just, so I haven't got to mess about with all the the registration and paying the tax and the fees that you have to pay to buy a brand new vehicle. But if I buy one second hand that's only a few months old, with a few hundred miles on the clock, that's already been registered and gone through that process, I think that would be really cool to do. But I'm still saving up the pennies at the moment, so it might be more than a year. It's a long time you have to save for a vehicle. And the thing is, I don't want to go into one of those HP schemes. I mean, you can't do anything like that if you're going to turn the thing into a self-build, because with those buying schemes, you sort of have to hand the thing back after sort of 2 or 3 years, and if it's been chopped and changed around, it's just not going to happen. I think I've just come back out on that road that I turned off. So at least I've got a signpost here. It's going to tell me where I'm headed. Well, it's Salisbury that way. I don't want to go to Salisbury. That's miles away and takes forever to get there. So I'll head back towards Marlborough. Oh, I miss this. I miss driving out in the country like this. I need to do it more often. It's getting kind of motivated to step outside the door and do it. Once you're in the van and driving, I really enjoy it. But it's that getting everything together, especially if I'm filming. I actually carry a bag now. I chuck everything in the bag, all my GoPros and stuff, in a kind of a shoulder bag. Actually, I think it's an old laptop bag. And that way everything's to hand, and I can just get to the van and set everything up, set the GoPro up. I've got the other GoPro on a stick in the bag, so if I get out, I've got something to carry you guys around with. Here we go, back in Hungerford again. But you can see all these houses here, they're all new builds. And that's exactly what's happening to every sort of town and small village well, as far as I'm aware, in the southwest. I don't know how it stands for the rest of the country, but everywhere you look, they're just building up all these new estates. And I mean, my town, there's a kind of a northern expansion. It's awful. It's all these houses. They've crammed as many houses as they can on top of each other, and they've tried to give the area like character, so they're giving everything like cobblestone street look and everything, but there's nowhere to park. Every time you drive down these places, all you're doing is avoiding cars that are sort of half up on the curb, just so that the people can park somewhere. And this whole building houses without parking, it's just well, they're obviously doing it because it's private companies wanting to cut back on costs, because obviously every square foot is profit. So if they're allowing spaces for cars, they can't get houses built on it. But it's I presume we're going to be in cars for a long time to come. I don't know. But again, we're back in Hungerford High Street again. I sort of keep looking, every time I come down here, I'm looking out for little offshoots to sort of like they've got in Mulberry. You've got all these little offshooty streets that have all these curiosity shops down them. And I'll definitely have to come and do a proper day out here and just have a proper walk around and see what's about. Because like I said, I've been told there's a lot of stuff here, but I guess it's a case of knowing where it is or finding it. Did have a cup of tea once in a little tea room just down the other side of those railings, and it was like a very prim and proper place, and all the waitresses were all dressed up in sort of almost Victorian dresses and things. It was a very quaint experience. I really felt like a tourist, Because as far as I'm aware, Hungerford, same as Marlborough, is kind of quite renowned for antique shops and things like that. if you're into that sort of thing. I've never been really into that sort of thing. Antiques, they don't really do it for me. They don't float my boat. Although I love going to old places just to get that vibe, that feel of ancientness. I mean, for me, I like to go to the off the beaten track places rather than towns. I can't really do busy towns without and enjoy it at the same time. So I kind of, the further I can get away from people, the better. I'm not a big fan of that, especially if you're carrying camera equipment around. I mean, I'd love to show you my town, but my town is full of chavs, and the last thing I want to do is walk around my town centre. Not that I've been into my town centre for at least a decade, because it's not a particularly nice place. I don't feel. But you can't really walk around the town centre without, let's say, interaction from people who who can't leave things like that alone. But there again, if I'm going to more touristy places, you can kind of get away with walking around with camera gear and not being bothered by other people. But I don't know, perhaps I'm being a bit biased about my own town. I mean, I've been there a long time. I've been there since I was 5 years old, so I've come to know it quite well, and I often hear it described as a town without a soul, and I'm afraid it's quite a good description. But there again, it's a motorway corridor town. It's a kind of a town where people, the only reason people live there is because there's good job opportunities there, there's good business there. But it's a town that doesn't have a lot of culture. I mean, it does try. I know there are people who are always trying to. I mean, at one point they were trying to make it a city, but it's just it's just not got the culture to be a city. I think they made one of the campuses a university rather than a college, just so they could apply to sort of try to make this town a city, but it just doesn't sit right at all. I do believe there are some ancient earthworks around here. I remember coming here years ago in my school, or with my school, and we were looking at some piles of earth basically that had got grass on them, and apparently they were ancient sites. Now back then I was a kid, I didn't really pay a lot of attention, but I do remember it was basically, I'm sure it was like here, it was basically a lay-by. We all got out on this lay-by, walked up a field, and there was these mounds of earth. I'll have to get a map, a decent ordnance survey map that sort of points this stuff out. Start circling off some places to go and visit, and then hopefully you can have some better things to film rather than filming the same old stuff all the time. Alright, we've got Savernake Forest. Well, all of this area around here is Savernake. We've got I presume you can see the trees from there. Yeah, Savernake. I love Savernake. It's a great place. It's an ancient. I think I love it because it's an ancient forest. It is managed, but it's not all like fir trees, which are really fast-growing trees. It's proper deciduous trees. You got a good mix in there. You got beech, you got chestnut, you got oak, all the old ancient English kind of trees that you get here. And it does have that kind of almost ancient, otherworldly feel in certain areas of it. That's why I always come to the Savernake's got two sides. You got like the touristy side, which is like the south side of it, and that's where most of the people go from the towns and everything, because there's lots of parking, lots of open spaces, lots of clearings, with grass and things, and it's quite pleasant. I sometimes go there during the week, during the day where it's not so busy. and it's rather pleasant just to sit out there. But you've also got this north side, and there's less parking. It's less kind of parking friendly, but if you can find a place to get nestled, it's much more untouched, it's much more unmanicured. I mean, it's still managed, but you know, far less than the other side. And it's also got that greater vibe, you know, and fewer people go there. So, and not a lot of people know about it as well. I think most people know, you know, the south side of Savernake, but not this side. So here we are again, Marlborough. You're probably sick of this place. I'm always going through here. We'll take a little spin through the high street because we can, and because I like it. Got a nice chip shop here as well. We used to come down here if ever we're camping up in Savernake. We'll come here to get a takeaway. This is one of the widest high streets in the country. Still pretty busy. Always busy here. But I do like this place, I must admit. Could never afford to live here. It's a horrendous cost of houses and things here. Again, chock-a-block, hardly any spaces available, and that's 2:20 in the afternoon on a Monday. So imagine what it's like on a weekend. Gonna turn right here. Ooh, I think I can turn right here. Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's head back this way. Another car park there. I wasn't paying too much attention, but I couldn't see whether it had a height barrier or not. That's the only disadvantage with this van, obviously, is a lot of car parks have height barriers on them. Because I'm a high top, I can't get in, which also makes visiting various places quite awkward, because sometimes you have to park right out of town just to get a parking space. So what I was thinking for my next van, I think I've got my heart set on the new shape Renault Master now. I know I said I liked the Iveco Daily, but I think in hindsight the Renault Master is, you got the higher driving position, and I really do like the high driving position. You see, this van is the Renault Traffic, which is like the baby brother of the Renault Master. So this is the biggest size you can get in this van. This is the high top, long wheelbase. And then the smallest Renault Master is about the same size as this. You know, the short wheelbase, low top. Well, obviously not low top, but the short wheelbase Renault Master is as big as this is. Talking of which, there is a Renault Master coming this way, this big white van. That's the new shape Renault Master, and the driver there was a lot higher up than I am, and I like that. I like, you know, to be as high up as I can get. So I think Renault Master is going to be my next choice of van. Plus they're a little bit more affordable than an Iveco, I think. But the debate I've got going on in my head at the moment, and have had for the last couple of months, is whether or not to get a high top. High tops are brilliant when you're camping, but at the moment, I'm camping not a lot, although I'm hoping that's going to change this year. But I got on just fine in my old Renault Master, which was a low top. The height of the ceiling was literally the height of the cab, and I got on just fine with that. And so I'm debating, because I could get under certain height barriers and things with the low top van, like you can with camper vans, like the Volkswagen T5s and things, the camper vans. You can go under height barriers where you can't go with these. So it means you can actually make the beachside car park and things like that, because a lot of them are designed to take Volkswagen camper vans, but they're not designed to take works vans. So if I was to get a van that is the same height as a Volkswagen, is a low top, so it's like a Volkswagen camper, I think I'm going to be able to get in a lot more places. So I don't know. That's the debate I've got going on. I mean, I could even have a pop top fitted, although I'm not entirely keen on that idea, because I know they're not that warm. Or I don't believe they're that warm. I'd much rather have the the metal roof with insulation rather than just some plastic lid. Plus the fact they're quite brittle and they can break if you hit trees and things, and then you end up with water coming in and stuff. So there's a lot to weigh up, because if I'm getting a van that's going to be relatively new, I'm probably going to have it for a long time. So I got to kind of, it's got to be right. And I've had several vans in the past to help me decide, what my next van is going to be. Hopefully my next van is going to be as a result of all the previous vans I've had, of the experience I've had with them. But at the moment I'm still weighing everything up. But I think ultimately I may end up not buying a low roof one. I could stand up in my old low roof one, my old white one, but you still had to sort of have your head bowed. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge if and when we get to it. This is quite a nice little way to go home from Marlborough, and it means you avoid the main road. You just kind of got this little backwater B road, and I love to do B roads wherever possible. You've got much less traffic on them usually. You get to see more scenic stuff, but you just don't get there any faster. And the thing is, if I was driving a car, I'd use the main road, but because I'm driving a van, it's an entirely different experience. In fact, I don't ever think I could ever go back to a car, because in a car all you want to do is just get there. You can't see anything, you sort of, your eye level's way down here, you can't see a lot, and so the journey is less interesting. All you got to look at is hedgerows and road. If you've got something taller in front of you, that's even worse. And so generally, after a short period of time, all you want to do is just hurry up and get there. And I was exactly the same when I used to have cars. I wasn't that bothered about the journey. I just wanted to get from A to B, and that was it. But with a van, it's a whole new psychology. It's a whole new ball game. And with a van, the trip itself is an event, and you're sat here in this, this nice seating position. Your legs are down rather than out in front of you. It's much more comfortable. It's almost like an armchair, and you just kind of watch the world go by as you meander along. And the whole experience is much more laid back, much more enjoyable. And even if I've got to get to a place, at a certain time or on time, I just set out a little bit earlier and just enjoy the ride. Maybe even set off even more earlier and make a cup of tea before I'm due, wherever. Although it's not that often, I have to be in a place at a certain time. It's one of the benefits of working from home. But I don't think I could ever go back to a car. I just love vans. I'm a van man, and in fact, I said in one of my videos, I think if you look at my DNA under a microscope, it'll be actually shaped like a van, because I'm RickVanMan. We're just about to come out to like the top of a hill with a little pull over. I'll pull over for a minute and have a look, and you just got a nice view right across everywhere. It's called Hackpen Hill, and you got actual like a hairpin road that takes you down the hill. Here it is. Yeah, always got cars parked up here. Oh look, there's another van just like mine. Oh, that's the Fiat Ducato. Another camper van. Yep, this place is popular with camper vans. It's a good place to rough camp probably as well. Ooh. I'll back up rather than park in front of these people that have obviously just come up here to have a cup of tea and a look at the view. There we go. So, hopefully you can see that. That's just a nice view out over, well, it's Wiltshire we're in, so I've done a couple of sunset videos from here before. Don't know what this generalised area is called, but we're currently on the Marlborough Downs. This is the Marlborough Downs. So some of that is the Marlborough Downs. This is a sort of green area you can see in front of us. That's classified as the Marlborough Downs, and then beyond that is, well, it's white, and then we've got Gloucestershire sort of beyond, way beyond that. So there we go. So now you know. Right, I think I'm going to sign off here. There's not a lot left that I want to talk about that I can think of. That I've probably gone on and on about, not a lot on this video. But hopefully you got to see some nice countryside, and it's been a change from the norm. So yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you again in another video. Till then, take care.